Okay.
Is that like the new furnace?
All right. We'll see if John's going to join us. We'll give him a few minutes. But we're just talking about our business, and
Hmm.
um,
Mhm.
this part is a little slow, but it's part about building a business. So
Exactly. Or Madison, do you decide any business name?
Yeah, I already had one from a long time ago.
Okay, so
Yeah,
do you
because when I finished the courses, I just set something up. Yeah.
okay. Okay, so do you have your social media pages and all of that set up?
Um, yeah, just not a Facebook page. I don't have a Facebook page.
And the Instagram?
Yeah, I have an Instagram.
What about Google business page?
Yeah, I just put my business on there.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, they are very essential to have your business on everywhere on social media.
yep, at
Oh,
least LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Those are ones that I hit the most. And there's other things that are that are out there that I haven't started using, like WhatsApp and stuff like that. I don't know how to use them yet. So, but well, we'll uh, we'll give John a few more minutes, but we'll just get started a little bit. Madison, before you ever go on a before you ever go on a inspection, there's some things that you have to have. Number one is the signed contract. Everybody knows that that's 100%. You need to have that. Otherwise, you can be held liable, and all kinds of bad things can happen. Um, After that, um, I have a little checklist I gave out that tells the realtors and the owners what to have ready. You know, have access to everything cleared away, access to the electrical panel, access to the crawl space, access to the attic, have all that available. Then also, have your pets, your kids, your valuables secured too. Um, Especially pets. Pets, I've had some bad run-ins with pets, and you want to make sure that they're all out of the way. Um, Also, um, have you been getting the agents to allow you access to the home, or do you have like this? It's called a super key that we have here that allows you to like get in like a realtor. You're part of the MLS system.
um, usually today they showed up, but there's also like the lockbox.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I've been using a lot.
Okay. Uh,
I haven't used the one that you brought up right now, the super key. Not
yeah.
sure what that is.
Here, what it is, it's access that the realtors have. It's through the local board of realtors. It's a little blue key that you see sometimes, a little blue key box you see on the front of the house. It's electronic key box, and most access, if you go as an affiliate through your board of realtors, it's about $500 a year to get access to that.
Oh wow. Is that like something you just put the code in and that's it? It'll open, give you the key.
Right, you have a an app on your phone,
Yeah.
and all you do is walk up and punch your code into the app, and it opens up that little blue lockbox, electronic lockbox for it. But it costs a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
definitely worth it. I use mine because I'm also a real estate agent, so I get both, and it access saves me a lot of problems and access too. Um, Another thing,
Bill, What's
ahead.
the today's topic? What's the today's topic?
Today's topic is starting your inspections. And this
Okay,
is just a little part. It's a before you start your inspections, I'm going to share the screen with you guys. My
sure.
screen with you. Okay. And here it goes. Can you see it, Zaid?
Uh, it's just loading right now. I can't see you.
Okay.
Yes, now it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Like I said, first thing you got to do is make sure you have the contract signed. Also, send out the inspection checklist to your agent and to your clients. You got to take appropriate steps. Make sure that everybody has you on their schedule and everybody knows you have appropriate access to the house. Also, the
Okay.
day before, I always recommend programming the route into your Maps, into your Google Maps. So you see how long it's going to take you to get there. I also check it in the morning too, because you never know what might have happened to the route. I also put calculate the distance into my Everlance, which is my tracking app. It tracks the distance I travel and it puts that towards my taxes. That morning, make sure you have your equipment loaded. Don't forget, if you have a magnetic signs to identify your vehicle, you put them on too. I normally have about 2 small suitcases full of equipment I like to take: cameras, backup cameras, thermometers, temperature gauges, you name it. I probably have one of everything and a backup with me. Now, Madison, do you carry ladders and everything like that with you now?
Wait, carry a ladder, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the telescoping one.
Okay, so I know some people do ladders, some people do drones. It's just a question.
Mhm.
Also, I tell everybody, once you get to the house, park in the street. I don't recommend you parking in the driveway. You park in the street and more people can see your vehicle, especially if you have a logo on it like mine. And I've seen people come after contractors and home inspectors, even realtors, saying, "There's a drop of oil in my driveway, and I want you to have the whole thing cleaned."
Oh, wow.
So if you got an older vehicle, yeah, park it in the street. Make sure when you do park it in the street, you don't block the mailbox, you don't block the garbage pickup. Sometimes in large building communities where it's all new houses, new constructions, you'll have to park on one side of the street or the other. Most time it's marked, clearly marked, park all vehicles on the right side, park all vehicles on the left side. It's just for them to keep deliveries of large stuff, when they're bringing a bunch of trusses or a whole bunch of framing equipment, they need the space. And I do got a couple dents on my truck just because of that reason too.
Mhm.
Okay. When you're walking up to the house, make a mental note of any potential dangers that might be out there. Might be some shifty people in the neighborhood, might be a lot of kids out in the streets. Make sure you lock up your vehicle. Also, there's hazards with pets running around too. If you drive up and there's a huge dog in the yard with an electronic fence type system in it, he might be on electronic collar. Don't do anything stupid if he's a big vicious dog. When you do go up to the house, you're always making mental notes as you're going in for your own safety. Being a police officer, I always find out even if you do have instant access, you do have a key, you might even have a realtor behind you. Always knock, ring the doorbell. It's the polite thing to do. Also, I've had houses where there's been homeless, vagrant people that have broken into the house during the night. And it actually gives them a chance to get up, flee, and leave, okay? It's pretty shocking when you find somebody, might be, well, I'll put it this way. The man I found inside the house was about 6'4", maybe 280 pounds.
Oh,
And he was a big man. I would not have wanted to have to deal with him. So all I seen was him just pick up his stuff and he ran out the back door. But I did, if something like that happens, I always call the listing agent and let them know what happened.
right.
Right. It's Madison, have you done any really, really old beat up houses yet?
No, I would like to though.
You can learn a lot by those. Also, there's a lot
Yeah.
of danger of squatters and vagrants being in them too, though.
Yeah. But you'll learn a lot, like you said.
Yeah, you learn to knock. It gives them a little heads up. Also, make note if the power's on right away. You'll have real estate agents who will fail to turn on the power. They'll fail to turn on the water or gas services to a house. Never allow them to talk you into turning this stuff on. You could turn on the power switch. It could be set to start a fire and burn down the house. You could turn on the water. There could be busted pipes. You could flood the entire house. The owner must turn on all the utilities.
And in this case, do you come back for this, or?
It's up to you. You could wait if it's a short wait. If you got to come back, charge them a fee to come back. The work is good, but don't do anything for free. If you had to waste your day and they can't turn on that appliance until the next day, make sure you are compensated for that. And I do no less than $150 to return. Okay. And the thing is, they're customers to you. Okay. They're customers to you. They are clients to the real estate agents. The real estate agents have what they call a fiduciary status, which means they're 100% liable for these people, their safety, everything have to do with this transaction. And they're supposed to have it on. They're getting paid, $8, $10, $18,000 for this.
Oh, wow.
And they want you to do it? No. They are supposed to have it ready. Okay. As you get in, there's no answer or anything. You get into the house, make sure you put your shoe covers or your footies on. I know more than one home inspector who's had to pay to have a carpet cleaned because they don't regularly wear their footies. Everybody knows I religiously wear my footies. I'll even take a picture. My first picture, I'll take a picture of my shoe covers that are on, my disposable shoe covers, so I don't attract any mud into the house. Some people will ask you to take your shoes off, but don't do that. You're messing with electricity and stuff like that. Don't ever take your shoes off as an inspector. It's part of your insurance. Your insurance may not cover you if your feet are not properly protected.
What about the hands, Bill? Do we need the gloves for the hands or not?
They are not necessary. But if the house owner, the seller ask you to wear them, please do. If they ask you to wear a mask, please do. I have all my stuff available in my bag. You never know, especially when COVID was very rampant. It was standard to wear wear your face mask and your gloves. Not so much now. I use a lot of hand sanitizer. I take it with me, but always have that available. Now, before you get started, I always leave my business card, or what they call a leave behind letter, on the table. That's so the owner knows how to get hold of you. Leave behind letter basically just explains what you've done during the home inspection. You trip GFCIs, you work on breakers and stuff like that, and there's a chance that they could be tripped, and might change the programming for somebody's digital coffee pot or something like that. Digital items inside the house. But still don't allow the fear of that allow you to not do your job. You've got to do your job. You got to test everything you can, but at the same time, you've got to be a courtesy, give the people a courtesy of trying to take care of their house best you can. The reason I always start in the kitchen is because that's when you're cleanest, and that's supposed to be the cleanest part of their house, and it needs to remain sanitary. So you show them that little bit of courtesy to keep their house as clean as possible. Madison, is that where you have been starting, or do you start on the outside?
No, I've been doing the outside, and then I put the shoe covers on.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of it just depends on the weather in the surrounding areas too. But I always try to I start inside the kitchen. Before you when you first go in, before you turn on the sink, always look underneath the sink for possible leaks. Check, make sure there's shut off valves, make sure there's proper electrical connections. And there's what they call a high loop in the dishwasher. Let me show you that. It's in the waistline. Okay. Does everybody see that now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is the waistline that comes from the dishwasher. It's got to have the high loop in it before it goes to the sink or the disposal. That protects it from dirty water running back down into the dishwasher and making it stink. And it will smell really foul if you don't do that. So, okay. At some time, you're looking at the valves, you're making sure everything's got a decent electrical look to it. Like today, the outlet for the garbage disposal was just laying on the bottom of the cabinet. It wasn't mounted anywhere. All right, when you go up there, when you're done looking at that, plug your sinks back in and turn on your valves and fill the sinks up. And what this does is it checks the seals around the cups, the base of the sink. Make sure the valves aren't leaking. Look back underneath the sink, make sure that those cups are not leaking. And a lot of times, if they don't use plumber's putty around the top of these cups, between the cups and the sink, that's what leaks. When you reach up, get the water running, check the temperature of the water. Record that too. Pull the drains, the drains out, allow the water to flow through. When the water's flowing through, you're checking the pipes, make sure the pipes are not leaking. On that, just make sure it totally drains. And a really good thing to practice is never walk away from a sink or a tub while the faucet is running. I've had people, they went to fill up the man, my friend of mine, went to fill up a tub. He walked away from the tub for a minute, got distracted, and flooded the entire bathroom. So don't ever leave a tub or sink while it's filling. Next thing you want to do is check your stove. Check the stove. Make sure it's got a anti-tip device. I just tug on it a little bit, make sure I can't lift it up. Anti-tip device will save it from tipping over with hot water on it and scalding any children. Next, you test your burners, turn them all on, make sure they're operational. Test your ventilation fan, and make sure that the ventilation fan, or if it's a microwave over top of the stove, you got at least 18 inches. Preferred is 24 inches, but you got to have at least 18 inches between the top of the stove and the bottom of the ventilation fan. And that's just make sure that people have proper room to use larger pots, like maybe a 20 quart type pot, large spaghetti type pot. Make notes of any lights that one of the most common things I run into is the over the stove light. The bottom of the microwave is not working. That's one of the number one things I find wrong. Next, go to your refrigerator. If there's a refrigerator, make sure you use your thermometer. Take temperatures of all compartments. A normal refrigerator compartment is normally about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The freezer is anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Once you check out the refrigerator, make sure you test all GFCI outlets inside the house, inside the kitchen. And when you check the GFCIs, make sure that none of the major appliances are going off with them. All the major appliances, the dishwasher, the microwave, and the refrigerator are supposed to be on their own individual circuits. So if you hit that GFCI, say beside the sink, and the microwave goes off, that's not a good thing. You got to write that up. Same thing with the refrigerator or the washer, the dishwasher.
So for that one, you put in the GFCI.
Yeah.
You want to see if the refrigerator shuts down? Is that what you said?
Right. Yeah. All the major appliances, the refrigerator, the dishwasher and the microwave are all supposed to be on their individual circuits. They're not supposed to be wired in with a GFCI. And by tripping that GFCI and looking at those particular items, you can tell if it's, you know,
Yeah.
on that circuit.
Uh,
Now, I don't know about there, but here, a disposal and a dishwasher are supposed to be on, now they are supposed to be on two different circuits. Just a few years ago, they could be on a 20 amp circuit, the two of them together. Most time they're right around 20 amps when they're working together. So if they had like a 15 amp circuit, it would trip it. Check your floor in front of your dishwasher. Check your cabinets. Make sure that there's no stains or anything there. If you see a stain, put down your moisture meter and test it, or your thermal camera, test it. I know that we are responsible for doing a observation, you know, but you can't pull anything apart. You can't pull out the dishwasher. So that's the only way you can test it. I do run my dishwashers on a short cycle. Most time it's just a rinse cycle. Try to give a short evaluation of what they sound like. You know, just choose a short cycle and run a short cycle. When I'm done with the kitchen, you know, there's other things you can check, you know, check countertops, that sort of thing. Make sure they're not too far out of alignment, backsplashes, stuff like that. The main part is the electrical and the major appliances.
mm-mm.
You know, if anything, you'll get a call back from is, you know, hey, my microwave, every time I use it, it's tripping this or it's tripping that, it's tripping the breaker. And it'll come back to haunt you. Everybody will blame you. Nobody will blame the seller. Nobody will blame the realtor. They'll blame the inspector. Make sure you check your overhead lighting. Check that when you go into each and every room. Turn over the overhead lighting. See if there's a 3-way or 2-way switch. I'll stop and take a moment. I actually use my flashlight to put extra light into areas where there might be a stain. If there's a stain, you'll have to make note of it and test it before you leave. When you go into the dining room, now dining room, a lot of times they'll have fans, windows, and stuff like that. Make sure you check them all. Check all outlets. Well, here's the thing about outlets, okay? Outlets and window, you are only required to inspect a representative number of those. Every outlet, I do every other outlet, every second outlet, and I'll look at every window. I'll open about every third window. Windows, what you're checking for is the seals in between them, making sure they open. Windows are a dead giveaway if a house has a moving foundation, because they'll get out of alignment a little bit and you won't be able to open them. Make sure that they are not painted shut.
Okay.
A lot of people in this area are famous, Zayeb, for painting the inside of their homes, and they paint their windows shut. And you can't open the
Okay.
windows. And if there's ever a fire, you're not getting it open.
Yeah. exactly.
Uh, have you run into any problems like that yet, Madison?
No, not right now. But the one problem I did find was when I plugged in my GFI tester, one of the lights on the right was like glitchy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that meant.
If it's the red light,
It was from the two on the right, the one on the most right.
okay, the two that are normally orange in color, it could be that there's a weak ground if it's blinking or sketchy,
Mhm.
glitchy. It could be a bad ground, because if the center light comes on, that means it's an open ground. So that could be probably a bad ground,
Okay.
or a loose ground. When you turn on fans, lights, make sure they come on right away. You don't hear any arcing or anything like that, a sizzle, snapping sounds. Could be definitely electrical problem. Check your switches, make sure they haven't been painted over. Switches are not supposed to be painted over. Also, now, one thing that I find a lot of problems with in dining rooms is a lot of them will have a carpet put down, and a carpet over time will leave like a shadow, or there'll be almost like a stain looking underneath the edge of it. That comes from just a throw carpet being there for a very long time. This things like the sun, UV rays, changing the color of the floor, and it doesn't change the color that's underneath the carpet. And it's just a cosmetic write-up. It's not really a defect or anything. It's just cosmetic. We're not allowed really to move carpets. If I see one, I'll flip up the edge. On an older house, I always flip up the edge of a throw rug to make sure that that's not happened. After I'm done with the kitchen, I go to the dining room, and that I'll either go to the foyer, which is in front of the house, front door. When I'm to the foyer, again, I always check all the lights, any windows that are in the area, and the front door. You want to make sure it opens and closes properly. It's not sticky. Most time, if you see any damage in the front of the house, it'll be on what's called the threshold, the base of the front door, just from traffic, people going out of the house for long periods of time. Sometimes it'll need repainted, sometimes it'll need recaulked. The lower edge of the door, where the trim comes down and touches the threshold, that's called a trim joint. The trim joints are supposed to be caulked too. And what happens is, it rains outside, you get leaves, you get moisture coming in, blow up against the door, or rain blows up against the door. If that trim joint on either side of the door is not properly caulked, water seeps into it and rots it out. That's very famous for like deck doors. One thing to check at the front door also is, they also have a GFCI on the front door. Make sure that when you activate the GFCI in the front door, it does not turn off any of the exterior or foyer lighting. We had a problem with that here in South Carolina. And what was happening was, people could go to your outside door, outside your house, push the test button on the GFCI outlet that was out there. It would turn off the outside light of your house. So you could go in the middle of the night, somebody could turn off the outside lighting of your house by hitting that GFCI outlet, and you couldn't tell that they're out there, and that's how they're breaking and entering and robbing people. After you do that, do the foyer and everything, check the door, check the sweep underneath the door, make sure there's no large, amount of air coming in underneath that, under cold air coming underneath it. Most time I'm done with that, I'll make my way to the master bedroom. And when you're going through these different doors, always close the door first, tug on it a little bit, make sure it latches properly. Depending on the heat and air system, check the door, make sure that there's a 1-inch gap underneath the door. That's all interior doors, because air flows around the inside of the house, and that's how it gets to the return, by flowing that 1-inch gap underneath the door when the door is closed. And if the doors do not have that 1-inch gap and air is not moving right around the house, you're going to find, say in the master bedroom, say if the door closes tightly, you're going to find a dust ring all the way around the outside edge of the room on the carpet, because the air has nowhere to go. The heat and air system is bringing airflow into the room, and it has nowhere to go. So you'll have a dirty ring all around the edge of the room. When you're in there, same thing, make sure you check all the lights. You're checking a representative number of the outlets. The bedroom windows must open. Bedroom and bathroom windows must open. It's part of the fire code, safety code. They must open in case of fire. Somebody tell you that window hasn't opened in 20 years. Well, if you want it to satisfy me as an inspector, it must open. All bedroom windows must open. And also, when you're checking the houses, you go into a bedroom must have a secondary means of escape. If it just has one door in it and no windows, no other doors, no other ways to exit, it cannot legally be a bedroom, because you can't sleep in it without a secondary means of getting out of the door, getting in and out of the room besides the door. Now we're talking the master bathroom. It's going to be, of course, is connected to the master bedroom. Make sure your doors are operational there. Everybody wants their privacy, right? Close them, make sure they latch, make sure they close. And there, also inspect your GFCI outlets. When you check your GFCI outlets, the overhead lights cannot go off. Sometimes they make mistakes. I take it back. A lot of times here on older houses, they'll make a mistake on the wiring. The outlet, when the GFCI outlet is triggered, the overhead lights cannot turn off. And that's for a fact that it's going to compound problems. It's going to compound an emergency. If somebody is shocked and that outlet, that breaker activates, now they're not only going to be shocked, they're going to be laying there in the dark because the overhead lights turns off. Overhead lights cannot turn off when the GFCIs turn on. Make sure you inspect the walk-in closet. Remember that closets, large walk-in closets, are supposed to have heating and air venting into them. If they do not have a vent into them, they cannot be counted as part of the square space of the house, the square footage of the house. Because it's not considered a livable space if it's not heated or cooled. Now, Madison, on that, just use your own discretion on telling people that, because you could get some realtors really, really mad at you. Okay. If it's a large walk-in closet and say it doesn't have a register or a heating and air vent going to it, and you tell your client, and all of a sudden they take that out of the square footage, and they start saying they want a reduction in price because square footage wasn't right, who are they going to blame? They're going to blame you. So just use your discretion on that, okay? Most time, I'm at the point now of being a very experienced, very well-known home inspector. People are like, oh, okay, you're right. With a new inspector, they may try to intimidate you. They may try to, threaten you. And it happens too. You'll have people to say, well, we'll never use you again. You'll never work in the city again. If you're doing a good job, God's going to bless you. And you're telling the truth, God's going to bless you, and don't worry about what they say. They're working for the wrong team if they want to lie about it, things like that. Also, when you turn on all the fans, listen to the fans. Another useful item you may want to carry with you. It's crazy, but have you ever seen something called canned smoke?
No.
Canned smoke. All it is, if they have a very expensive bathroom ventilation fan, you may not be able to hear it. So all you do is put a little puff of the smoke in the air while it's running, and you can see it suck it out. I'm almost 60. I'm an ex-Air Force, ex-military guy. I have very bad hearing. So I can't hear some of the high-end, very expensive fans, even like that they're pulling, 100, 150 cubic feet of air per minute. Sometimes I just can't hear them. Same thing as in the kitchen. Look under your sinks first. Make sure all your connections are fine. Make sure there's no stains underneath there. The waste pipes look okay, and the cabinets look okay. Then turn on your faucets. Turn on your faucets. Fill the basins. Same thing. Check your water temperature. Make sure the basin's not leaking. Let it all go down. Release the basin, water basin. Make sure it's not leaking underneath. Run the water inside your tub and your shower, or both if you have more than one. Some people have both, have a shower and a tub. And there, your tub, your shower, you're looking for cracks in between the tiles. You're looking, making sure that all the water is running down the drain and it's not staying anywhere on the floor. Make sure everything is caulked at the corners. Make sure your faucet handles aren't leaking. Today, I had checked my sink, checked my faucet, checked my toilet, went to turn on my shower. The shower didn't even work. There's no water coming out of it. I don't know what's wrong with it. That's not my job to figure it out. It's my job to report it. And they had no water flow to the shower. Just turn off the shower, make sure all the water runs down the basin. When you go to check the toilet, they don't teach you in school, but what you do is you straddle your legs on both sides of the toilet, and you basically try to wiggle it with your knees, with your lower legs to see if it's loose. If it's loose, wobbles, ride it up. Make sure there's no water underneath it. I had that today too. I had a leak from the bolts connecting the tank on the back of the toilet. They were leaking today on the house I did. Make sure you flush the toilet. When you flush the toilet, you've got to listen to your sinks and your tub. If you hear a gurgling sound from your tub or your sinks when you flush your toilet, something is wrong with the venting. The pipe that goes up through the roof. Something's wrong with your venting. When you flush that toilet, you shouldn't hear no gurgle from the P-traps in the toilet. I mean, in the sinks or in the shower or tub. If you do that, that's something we'll have to go through when we get to plumbing, but that's something you'll have to check. If you hear a gurgling sound anywhere when you flush the toilet, there's a problem. When you're done with all this, it's kind of like you got to choose your point where you want to go to next. Most time I will finish off the rest of the bedrooms and bathrooms, just go through them one at a time. And I do a clockwise motion around the house. I go in a clockwise motion and take them one at a time. I take notes one of two different ways. Now, I'll take a note on my camera. I'll take a visual note on my camera. I don't use the Spectora and stuff like that in software. I take all my stuff back home and do my report at home. But well, also I'll speak into Siri. I'll say, "Hey Siri, take a note." If I want to make a special note about something, I'll just speak into her, and then I'll know to pull that up when I get home and be able to take notes that way. Some of the advanced software, you speak right into it, you make your notes exactly right there. I find out that that takes a lot longer time on the premises, and I'm just not into that right now. I enjoy my my software that I use. Madison, what software are you using right now?
It's called Home Inspector Pro.
Home Inspector Pro?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. Yeah, that works pretty good. Some of the higher end ones, I don't know about that one, but I've heard stuff about it. But some of the more expensive ones, you do right there. You're walking through and you're using the checklist on the software or on the app itself, and you're using drop down things. You're taking pictures and you add them right there. I found out that makes you take a lot longer time in the house, and I don't like that. I don't like spending excessive time. A lot of people get creeped out by home inspectors that sit in the driveway, and they continue the report while they're in the driveway too. They'll sit in a person's driveway for 2 hours. That's kind of creepy, you ask me. You will find crazy things inside the house. You will find guns, firearms, people carelessly leaving money around. If I see it laying around, I always take a picture of it. Just for my, my own liability sake. Somebody said, did you see the money laying there? I said, yeah, I even took a picture of it. Here it is. You'll have strange things happen. You'll find guns and stuff just laying everywhere some days. I've could not believe it. I found everything from artillery shells, grenades. I have found homemade stills. I found methamphetamine labs. I found, people would be growing their own marijuana, just all kinds of stuff. And just take a picture of it, and I report it to the people what I find. I don't necessarily call police unless it's something illegal. If it's just something that I disagree with or think it might be a liability thing, I just tell people, I saw this, I saw that. Don't make any comments on your opinions on people's decorations, any of their paint jobs, just go with it. We're not there to make a decision on cosmetic items. If it's something, peeling paint, that's different. Report peeling paint. But if it's ugly paint, just let it go. If you find certain fixtures that will be their concern, say if you find an in the wall safe or in the floor safe, make sure you report it. As far as interiors, don't wear yourself out reporting petty things. I had a group of women call me back one day. A lady had a move-in party. After she bought the house, she had a moving in party, had all her girlfriends there, called me up and told me, demanded me to come over to the house right now. Because they had a list of things that I missed that they wanted me to fix. And at the time I was new, I was like, okay, I'll be right over. I'll see what it could be. You know what it was?
What?
It was silly things like the screws and the cover plates for the outlets and the switches weren't going up and down. The screws were actually mounted sideways, and they wanted all their screws to go up and down. And small things like a little bit of dried caulk in a window, a little dust in a window, stuff like that. And don't waste your time on petty stuff like that. All it does is it's gonna fill your report full of BS, and it's gonna fatigue the reader. When you give somebody a listing, if there's problems with outlets saying being they're not level or they're out of alignment, just put a bold statement. A large number of outlets were out of alignment, large outlets that were painted over. Don't put that statement in every room. Wall number 2 had 3 outlets, outlet here, outlet there, outlet there. Just put a broad, statement saying that a large number of outlets were out of alignment, or a large number of outlets that were painted, or the like in a new house, the trim, the crown molding, the shoe molding still needs to be caulked. Stuff like that. Don't write down every inch of it. Just say a large amount of, crown molding still needs to be caulked. There's a lot of gaps in the master bedroom. Don't write, this corner, that corner, this corner, that corner, this corner.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a 500-page report that's going to nothing but overwhelm people. Just try to give a broad statement. Large number of trim joints on the crown molding needs to be caulked. Or if you're doing a brand new house, right up, the house was not ready for final inspection, a lot of trim needs to be caulked. if you make any comments on squeaky or rolling floors, the best way to determine that's me to show if a floor is actually got a bad roll or that it's not level is there's two different ways of doing it. There's one, it's called a tile puck. It's a type of level. They only cost about $10. It's called tile puck. You lay it down on the ground. It's got a single bubble in the center of it. Or if you got a bad sloping floor, do you have a bigger level, say like a 4-foot level? Madison,
4-foot level.
you know, a level to keep make sure the floors and things are level. If
Okay.
you don't, you get one at Harbor Freight. They're inexpensive at Harbor Freight.
Mhm.
The way you do that is you put your foot on one end of the level, which will make it level with that part of the floor. And if the floors are really, really sloped, it'll definitely show you. Matter of fact, I
Yeah.
think I'll do a video on that and demonstrate for everybody. But Harbor Freight's my best place to go. As far as buying, inexpensive tools, like your testers and stuff like that. That's a good
Okay,
place to
Harbor
go.
Freight.
Did you have Harbor Freights over there? West
Yeah.
Coast? Yeah, like the voltage testers and the GFC outlet testers, they're under $5.
Yeah.
So if you lose one, good place to get shoe covers, gas masks, all that kind of stuff. Any questions?
Mm, not really.
Okay. The only other room we didn't do is the laundry. When you go into the laundry, make sure you don't have any leaks. Make sure you have ball valves there, minimal of ball valves. Sometimes ball valves with the resistors on top of them are always a good bonus because that stops water hammer. Make sure you identify if it's a 3-prong or a 4-prong outlet, newer or older dryer outlet, and check the dryer vent if you can. Do you have anything, Zayed?
Yes, I got a lot of knowledge today. You describe everything very professionally with the experience.
I'm
And
trying.
yes, you are doing great.
I'm trying. I keep hitting I keep going off camera, but that's okay.
No problem.
But if you guys have any questions during the week, hey, just shoot me a line, Madison. I don't mind answering your questions.
Okay.
I enjoy helping you. Okay. We reap what we sow in life. If I help you, you can help somebody else, and God turns around and He helps me. So that's the way I look at it. People
Wow.
have helped me in my past. My friend Zayeb has helped me out with a lot of my social media stuff. He's watched my back for me when I've made bad mistakes. So,
Yeah.
we work as a group. Okay. If you need us, we can definitely answer your questions.
All right.
And hey, have a great day. If you have
All
any
right.
questions, just let us know. We'll be going to the attic for the next one.
Okay.
And
So for the payment, it's reoccurring, or
yes,
do I have to
yeah,
manually do it?
yeah.
I guess we'll see, right, from the last time that I paid.
My wife was supposed to tell me that, but I forgot to actually. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot to ask her.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of maybe waiting to see on the 16th, and then if there's not an automatic, then I'll just do it manually. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll
Yeah.
do what I can for you, all right?
All right.
And I think yours is might be automatic. I know you get the automatic discount for until you decide to leave.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I signed up last month on the 16th, so I'm gonna have to just see.
Okay, my friend. I'll double check it as soon as we get off here.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
All right.